Jason?
The Ministry of Education has announced plans to conduct a pilot survey of 15,000 parents next year to determine the actual cost of private early childhood education and eliminate statistical blind spots.
교육부가 유아 사교육비 실태를 파악하고 통계의 사각지대를 없애기 위해 내년에 학부모 15,000명을 대상으로 시범 조사를 실시할 계획이라고 밝혔습니다. All right, tell us more about this.
Yeah, so they've taken stats previously on how much people are spending when it comes to elementary school, middle school, and high school. But now they want to check early education for children as well as for post-high school in terms of people that are studying for the college entrance exam for a second or third time. So they just really want to check how much is it really costing to raise people, raise children in Korea, because obviously it is known already that it is expensive, but I think they want to find out the exact details or get more accurate.
And it's been a big issue for quite some time, right?
Absolutely.
They want to reduce that private education spending as much as possible. 자, 그렇다면 우리 표현 좀 볼게요. The first one is to conduct a pilot survey.
Yeah, when you do something as a pilot, you're sort of investigating pre. So the most common place we'll hear this is when it comes to television episodes like sitcoms or dramas, maybe even nowadays like reality shows. You usually create a pilot episode before a show is sort of granted the money to create an entire series of shows. And with that budget for the pilot, that usually becomes episode one of a particular show. But it's the trial. It's the kind of like, let's see if this is going to work or not. But it's the pilot episode to see if it's going to be good.
The pilot episode, as you said, could be the first, it could be titled number 1, or sometimes it could just be like episode 0, depending on, how you label it. But depending on, of course, the reaction and how people either like or don't like that first show, then, it could go on or not.
Yeah, it's sort of like a trial, like a trial period or a trial episode where you're going to try something to see if it's popular, and if it is, we'll continue on. But there's no guarantee that it necessarily will.
Pilot can be used as both an adjective and a noun. You could just say a pilot, but it could be a pilot episode or a pilot show. In this case, a pilot survey.
And of course, this is completely different from the person who drives an airplane.
Oh, of course, yes.
So just want to make sure that people, wait a minute. I mean, obviously it's the same word of a very common word, but it's got nothing to do with it.
네, 그렇습니다. 시범적으로 뭐뭐 한다라고 할 때 형용사로 쓸 수도 있고요. 단독으로 명사로도 쓰기도 합니다. 시범적인, 여기선 조사가 되겠죠. A pilot survey. And they want to find all the blind spots.
Yeah, a blind spot is a place that you can't see. And the most common area that I like to talk about this is when it comes to driving.
Yeah.
So I've taught my wife how to drive in Korea.
Really?
Yeah.
They say spouses should never teach each other how to drive because you'll just argue.
She did actually go to like a driving hagwon, but afterwards, like there's some fine tuning that I tried to correct. And one of the things that I mentioned, because I know a lot of people in Korea don't do this, is there's a blind spot that we talk about when driving. And we in Canada, we have something called a shoulder check, which is something you have to do. So when you look at your side mirror and your rear mirror, when you're changing lanes or turning, there's a small area right next to you that you can't actually see. The other car, if there's a car there in that blind spot, then you can't see that car unless you kind of quickly look over your left shoulder when you're going left or over your right shoulder when you're going right. Then you'll realize that there's actually a car there.
Right.
And they have a blind spot signal on cars these days where your side mirror will flash like orange or red to see that there's something in your blind spot. So it's a small area that you think you might be able to see, but you can't actually see.
Exactly. And so that's the shoulder check.
Shoulder check. You just
quickly.
do a quick look the other way.
Okay.
Yeah. I remember I was driving once and I did a shoulder check when the first time I was driving in Korea, and a Korean that was in the car with me saw me look over quickly and they're like, what are you doing? Oh, you got to keep your eyes forward. They were shocked that I actually turned my head to check if there was a car in my blind spot. But they were surprised. Like, no, that's normal. You're supposed to do that. Well, that's how we're taught anyways in Canada, that you have to do that. But they were shocked that you would not, be always looking forward.
Right. Well, these days, the latest cars, they do have sensors and they do that job for you. But it's always better to be safe than sorry. Blind spot, 우리말로는 사각지대입니다. Give us an example sentence.
When driving, you should always shoulder check when changing lanes to make sure there isn't a car in your blind spot.
네, 다시 한번 읽어볼게요. The Ministry of Education has announced plans to conduct a pilot survey of 15,000 parents next year to determine the actual cost of private early childhood education and eliminate statistical blind spots.